Hi everyone, welcome. FPLMattDay here, and this is my Game Week 20 Your Questions Answered video. Before I start, if you're new here, please give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, and also get your comments and any questions in for those that weren't able to get a question in for the stream. Get them in the comments. All ready for Game Week 20, another deadline. There's been so many FPL deadlines lately, and it's been great. Which gives us lots to talk about in this stream. Thanks to those managers that have asked questions. It's really appreciated. If you want to get in on the action, go head over to my Twitter. There will be a post every game week, and you can feature on this stream just by asking a question. And you can find that at FPLMattDay on Twitter. I'll share screen now so you can see that post. And that Twitter or X handle, whatever you want to call it these days, there it is. You can find me at FPLMattDay and ask a question. Come on there, follow me, and ask any questions for the game weeks, whether it's transfers, captains, differentials, drafts of your team. Just let me know, and then you can feature in the stream. But let's get straight to it, and let's go into our first question that has been asked, and it's FPL Planner. A fellow Australian content creator, also does a great podcast, YouTube with FPL Hall and a few others as well. So go and give him a follow if you haven't done already. And he has asked, can you rank the Spurs midfielder options when Son is away? And this is a question I love being a Spurs fan, as I love to talk about Spurs pretty much all day, every day. So I will rank these midfielders while Son is away, which is going to be from Game Week 21 onwards until, depending on how far South Korea go in the Asia Cup, he could miss potentially 2 game weeks, 2 game weeks in January, one mid-Jan, one towards the end of January, because remember there is a winter break as well and an FA Cup break, and then potentially I think a week or 2 in February as well. It depends how deep South Korea get, and they've got a good opportunity of doing well in the Asia Cup as well this year. But let's go with number 3, and it'll be Brennan Johnson will be my third option. Very cheap. I think he's 5.8 at the moment as a midfielder enabler. He's come in with a couple of assists. Has been unlucky not to get a couple of hauls or a couple more sort of goals, assists, but I put him third purely because although he's involved in a lot of Spurs attacks, we've seen him provide some really good final balls for Richarlison and Son. He hasn't quite found his feet or his groove in a Spurs shirt just yet. And this could give him that opportunity. But I think he's just lacking a little bit of confidence trying to adjust from Forest to Spurs. So I put him in at number 3 as my kind of bargain option if you're looking to save some cash and you want to get some Spurs coverage in there. Which leads me to second place, which is a player who's had some really good sort of isolated hauls this season. And that's Kulusevski. With Son away, there's going to be big reliance on him to chip in with some goals. Didn't have a great game in Game Week 19. Obviously gave away a penalty for Spurs and just didn't have his best game. But when he scores FPL points, he scores pretty big. And he can be quite fixture proof. One of his best hauls this season was away against Man City. If he's playing on that right, he can cut in and get some shots on goal. But he's better when he's in that free role. And we might see Spurs potentially revert to Richarlison Johnson as a front two, with Kulusevski in behind while Son is away. There could be a slight adjustment from Ange, potentially. And Kulusevski comes in second for me because I think there is potential for returns. He gets shots on goal. He knows where the net is. He can find assists. But he doesn't get number 1 because number 1 is going to be Richarlison, who is a midfielder option playing as a centre forward. He will be playing in that striker role, and he'll be on pens. He was a penalty taker at Everton. I think he's second. 95% sure he's going to be second while Son is away as the penalty taker. He's confident from the spot. So he's number 1, playing through the middle. We saw in the Brighton fixture, he was very unlucky not to get a couple of goals, just needed a little bit more discipline. He also hit the post. So for me, he is the best Spurs midfielder option whilst Son is away, and potentially someone you could even hold on to when Son comes back, and if Spurs fixtures obviously then get a little bit better and they hit some form. So that's my top 3 Spurs midfielders. So thanks for the question, FPL Planner. As I mentioned, go give him a follow. Second question from Andy Chats FPL. So go and check out his page as well for plenty of FPL chat. He's got some thoughts would be appreciated. I'm struggling with this. Could it be worth transferring out one of Salah or Son this week to avoid to take a -4 to do it next week? I'd keep them both, mate. I think Salah at home to Newcastle. Newcastle got a lot of injuries. They're not on form. Salah for me is a captain shout this week, and Son with the home fixture. Unless you want to go sideways to Richarlison to have some Spurs coverage in that game, or a Man City midfielder. But I think you could probably get away with not having to do a -4 in the next game week of Game Week 21, because we're still not sure what's going on with Haaland. I know it gives him a few weeks to come back, but no one knows. He's got this pain in his foot, this potential fracture. He plays Game Week 21 away at Newcastle. He's obviously always deadly, but he might not necessarily start straight away. And you could probably avoid Haaland for another week, wait till Game Week 22 with the Burnley game. Pep might bring him back into sort of an easier home game. And I think you can probably get away with not having to make that hit, if that's why you're doing a hit. At the same time, I think a lot of people will be looking at taking hits to bring Haaland back if they have to in Game Week 21 anyway. So if you do it, I don't think you'll lose too much ground. I think it's worth keeping Salah and Son and sort of weighing it up in the new year, especially because there's a couple of weeks break as well to think about it also. But yeah, great question. Thanks, Andy. FPL rates, go and check him out as well if you haven't done already. He's asking, how would your wildcard team look? And I'm assuming this is because a lot of people still have their second wildcard left. Look, I will be doing a draft for Game Week 21 onwards for the second wildcard during the break, so stay tuned for that. But if I was wildcarding now, I'd definitely be focusing on finding a way to either have Haaland and have him benched and ready for when he is fit to play, to save me a transfer down the track, or make sure I've got enough money in the bank to have Haaland ready as probably a sideways move for someone like Alvarez, who I'd bring in for this game week. I'd have a second Man City player. I'd have one of their midfielders, either Bernardo or Foden. City have some good fixtures. They're both looking like they're on form. I'd still be having Ollie Watkins. I'd probably, like Solanke, I don't think is as much as a necessity over the next couple of game weeks. You could probably move away from him for now. I'd be looking at a midfield enabler, probably Cole Palmer still if you haven't already got him, and preferring him to kind of Anthony Gordon or even Garnacho as well, who's coming at a really, really good price. I'd definitely have Jared Bowen, fixture proof for me. I'd be looking at an Arsenal midfielder. I know they didn't do well in this game week, but Saka and Ødegaard, surely they're going to pick up some form during this good run against Arsenal. I'd be keeping Areola and probably looking at someone like Pickford as your number 2 as well. And I'd be targeting maybe a Villa defender like Konsa as well. And I'd be putting Trent in your team too. And then I'd also try and find a way to make sure at any given time it will only cost you 2 transfers max to bring Salah back, because we're probably going to need him back at this stage. So that's probably how it would look if I was wildcarding at this moment. So great question. Aaron Wood, go give him a follow as well. He has asked, do you advocate a Manchester City captain option still, even if it's not Haaland? 100% for Game Week 20. You can look at Alvarez, who we know is going to be on pens, took one against Everton. Foden or Bernardo Silva, both on scoring form. They've got Sheffield United at home, who are sitting in that relegation position. City are known to beat these teams 3, 4, 5 goals to nil quite easily. And Bernardo, in his last home game, one of his last home games this season against Bournemouth, he got a double-digit haul. Loves these types of fixtures. So, yeah, I would for this game week. But from then on, as Haaland comes back in the team, it's going to be all about Haaland. And the last questions come in from Conj108. Is Gordon to Silva a better option than Gordon to Richarlison, as I could switch Son to Richarlison when the Asian Cup starts? I would say yes. Get Bernardo Silva in for this game week. Nice home fixture against Sheffield United, followed by Newcastle away, which he'll likely feature in. He actually has a good record against them and at St James's Park. And then Burnley at home afterwards. And then Richarlison, like you said, sideways move from Son to him afterwards. I don't think you need to make those moves right now. So, yeah, I 100% agree with what you're saying there, mate. If I was in your position, that is the type of moves I would be doing. And that's what I'm doing. I'm actually likely bringing in Bernardo Silva for Gordon this game week. And then it will be either Son or Salah that leave my team as they go away for the AFCON and the Asia Cup. So there you have it. Thanks to everyone that has asked a question. Really appreciate it. Go and check me out on Twitter. If you haven't done so, you can ask a question for Game Week 22. Remember, there is an FA Cup break followed by a winter break. So, yeah, be sure to consume all the FPL content that's coming in over the next day or so. If give the channel a subscribe if you haven't done, the video a like, and ask a question in the comments if you weren't able to for this stream. Good luck, everyone, for Game Week 20. I'll leave you all to it. Good luck again, as I just said, for this game week coming. All the best. I'm FPLMattDay, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.